and that comes with experience. He's got that now. I'm hoping he can use it to his benefit this time.
You've spoken about managing the gas tank and experience and that fight IQ. The punch output kind of comes into it, because is that where you feel like Chris kind of almost won the fight in those first 3 rounds? I think he threw over 300 punches in the last 3 rounds. He broke his own record in terms of punch output. Is that where the fight was won and lost?
Yeah, look, I mean, tempo for sure was a massive plus in the fight for both fighters. Don't get me wrong, there was an awful lot missed. The accuracy needs to improve this time, but I think, look, this being a rematch, obviously, it's about who can make the adjustments, who can watch that first fight back and say, look, I need to do this, I need to do that. I do believe...
Does that scream emotion?
What's that?
The amount of misses. When you say 200 to 400 misses, that screams emotion.
And
to
I
me.
don't mind that. I don't mind it. In the first fight, a fight of this magnitude, you'd rather, in that fight, hear the final bell and say, I gave it my all. I'd probably give it a bit too much. Yeah. You know, I let my emotions, as Tony said, get the better of me, and my boxing, my game plan fell out of the window a little bit.
And as you can see on screen, we've got the punch stats from rounds 10 to 12, where you believe that Chris kind of almost, he used that IQ and that experience to outwork Conor. Conor got tired. And you say, you know, as fighters, you throw a punch, and especially a punch with bad intentions, it almost takes more out of you than when you land it.
Listen, when you come to someone like Conor Benn, I'll guarantee you he threw twice as many power punches as Chris Eubank. Yeah. And I haven't seen the stats. I haven't got them in front of me. But just off knowing the styles and the way these guys carry themselves, Chris was able to manage, like I said, them last 3 rounds better, the championship rounds, and the reason he manages them better is because he's done them many more times than Conor, and he's been in with fights like this before. This isn't his first rodeo, and the good thing about it, it's not Conor's first rodeo anymore. So it's a lot more even. But for Chris, he showed really good things in them last 3 rounds in that first fight. He really did. No one can take that away from him.
You're both in Conor's corner. What advice do you give him in this round 13? How does he go in? What does he have to? What does he have to implement that will help him to win this rematch?
To get a little technical, I think he needs to keep shots a lot straighter. I'd like to see him bring his feet in. He missed a lot, like he did there. When he brings his feet in behind a double jab right hand, keep them short and compact. I think these wild swings played into Eubank's hand. Whenever he missed with the right hand, he threw a lovely counter left hook, did Eubank. Junior. So I think it's about being sharp, bringing those feet in, changing the levels as well. I think these wild swings, as dangerous as they are, and don't get me wrong, if he was to land one of those, you see Eubank was hurt, they can do damage. But what happens is when you tense up and you load up, you start showing your shots. And as a fighter as experienced, as Tony said, as Chris Eubank Jr., he'll see the shots coming, and even if he doesn't get to counter, he'll just take the sting out of the shot, and you don't get full purchase.
We saw in that 3rd round, Conor hurt Chris, and Chris looked stunned and wobbled. Do you think that played a part in almost the level of aggression and the amount of power punches thrown? Because you just mentioned you don't know how many power punches he threw. I think he threw about 560. Don't quote me on this, but CompuBox tells me about 567 shots, 380 of which were power shots. Yeah. I mean, once you see somebody, you can hurt somebody coming up in weight. That does kind of, I guess affect how you're going to then approach a fight.
You've also got to know when to go for the kill, though, Josh. And he had him hit twice, in my opinion, really bad in the fight. And he didn't push the foot down at the right times. Like I've said before, you learn from this massively. But make no mistake, Chris Eubank Jr., he's learning too. He's not the complete finished article. I just feel the fight with such a quick turnaround, I think that favours Conor. I'm not going to lie, you know, the younger man will repair faster, he will be fresher. He is the sharper fighter of the two. I just think if you're leaving it to down the back end of the fight again, the bigger man is always going to get stronger down the back end of the fight. It's just nature. You can't change that. It just, for me, Conor needs to use the sharpness to his advantage a bit more this time, and I think that could see him over the line. But no matter what happens, I will guarantee again, I will put my backside on the line. This is going to be an unbelievable... These can fight 10 times, yes, and you are going to get 10 classics. And that first one was nothing short of a true classic. It's one of the best fights I've ever seen live, and I can't credit both of the fighters enough for it.
No doubt, there's a guarantee that there is going to be fireworks. We've spoken a lot about the past, the legacies of their fathers, but what about the future, a potential future opponent of Conor Benn is stood here. Lewis Crocker, jump in. It is a pleasure to have you here with us off the back of a massive win. I mean, congratulations, first of all.
Thanks very much, mate. It's been unbelievable for me since Saturday. You know, like the night couldn't be better. You can relate, like win the world title at home, and like when I was upstairs, he says, "Welcome to the club." I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm a clown at the minute.
Mate, listen, you deserved it, and well done to you.
Thank you very much.
You know, I never gave you, and I've just been doing an interview and said about Billy. I said I never gave Billy the respect after the first fight because it was just like you went in there and it was just, I'm going to get on his chest and get stuck in. So I thought, well, okay, there's nothing wrong with being that kind of fighter. It works. And you came into the fight and the game plan you put in place was absolutely brilliant. First class by both of you. So I'm always straight up. I just hold my hands up and go, massive well done to you both, because I've never seen that in your whole career up to now. I've never seen you go on the back foot, be so dominant, be so good with a jab, timing counters so well. The only thing I do want to say is, why didn't you go for it in round 6? Because I've never seen a man such rubbery legs at the start. I've got to give him his credit. He's got some whiskers on him.
He did, mate. He took a great shot there, and that was the thing, because it was boxing so well, mate.
Yeah.
I was just like, I wanted to be cautious, because, you know what I mean? I was like, I mustn't got cut again or something, and then something happens and stuff, but...
Look at that.
You got the job done, champ.
Mate,
and
like
I said
many
before,
times I've watched that. Yeah,
welcome
like,
to the
serious.
club.
No, mate, like, thank you very much. It means everything to me.
Better than you dreamt of?
Oh, a million times better, mate. A million times better, and like, especially like as a huge underdog going into the fight. You know what I mean? And just everything. That was my moment in life. You know what I mean?
Did you prove anything to yourself that night, Lewis?
Yeah, for sure. Like I knew I could box, and you know what I mean. And Paddy's a world class fighter.
Yeah.
Like he will come back and he win a world title or win a world title and stuff. So like to do that and just to prove people wrong, and just like once I got out there and the crowd and everything, it was just like, this is my moment, and I was ready to go.
No one anticipated that, Lewis. No one anticipated. Come on the back foot, box him, and draw his mistakes, because he is such a good counterpuncher himself. And the thing with Paddy Doherty, he's so sharp and accurate. So while it's a risky game to play, looking in hindsight, it sounds great now. But having the nerve to go into a world title fight like that, what you've done, and hold that game plan and hold it through, mate, you deserve more than a round of applause.
Big nights in Belfast.
Oh,
yes.
For sure, mate. You know, and it's great for my city as well, because, like, you know yourselves, it gives people another opportunity to be on them and get them the publicity, and you know, and like follow my footsteps now, like, and like to have like Burnett was IBF World Champion, Frampton and Kakachi, and like for my name to be on that list now is like, it's history.
No one
now,
takes that away from you, champ.
That's it,
and
that's
you know
it.
what? We need more Bills over there. We need the fight nights over there, because there's very few fans in the world like them. That just the Belfast fans and the Irish fans, unbelievable.
Do you know what's so good as well? Seeing a world champion so fresh off the victory,
Yeah.
and seeing the emotion, it is brilliant. This is what we all do it for.
Yeah.
You know, these guys here, eventually they'll want to, you know, fight for a world title, get a shot, and you know, the video.
Well done, man. Achieved a lifelong goal and a dream.
And a lot better looking this time round than it was the first time, you know what I mean?
It helps, lad, doesn't it?
For sure.
Lewis, well, congratulations, massive. I know we've got to take a little bit of time to talk about, you know, you've had your moment in the sun, but boxing is a sport of highs and lows, and a man who was no stranger to big nights and world titles was Ricky Hatton. And I want to give you guys the opportunity, give you the floor to just maybe hark back and kind of give me your best memories of the times you spent with him and the times maybe you grew up watching. I know you've known him for decades. So,
I mean, just one of your own, just perfect, just perfect in and out of the ring. You know, when you talk about value for money, that was Ricky Hatton. And again, I don't just mean when you watched him box. Outside, he was a man of the people, somebody you could have a chat with. And I see him in the week on Tuesday, and he was just perfectly Ricky Hatton. He was just great to be around. And when I left him, I was just gutted because I enjoyed his company so much. He's going to be so massively missed for so many reasons, and may he rest in peace.
As an amateur boxer, I was boxing for Rotunda ABC, and Paul Smith took me up to the gym. I used to go up there with him quite often, and I'd won an ABA title, and he is the only fighter I spent time around and looked at and watched him train, and was in awe. I've never seen anyone train like Rick. He was just, the way he trained, the way he lived, everything about him. He just an absolutely amazing human being. Getting to know him, being around him over the years, he just, I can't put it into words. It just breaks me heart. But Rick should be remembered not just for his boxing, but the human being that he was. A brilliant father to his 3 kids, a diamond of a lad, always joking, always taking the mickey, always laughing. just the life and soul of anywhere where he was, and he was just brilliant to be around. And I idolised him after watching him train. I just thought, you are the standard. You are what you need. If you want to get to somewhere, if hard work, he was the standard. Seeing him with Kerry Kays, Billy Graham, the lads in the gym, the Gomez's, the Paul Smith, the Macklins, all of them boys, they just work so hard. And Billy had a great stable. So spending time with him, I'm eternally grateful. And mate, I'll miss you forever. You are an angel with boxing gloves on now, and that's the best phrase I could give him, mate. A true angel on a diamond. We're all going to miss him forever.
Incredible memories, Shelby. Now, Lewis, as a young fighter coming up, you must have a lot of memories watching Rick and those huge fight nights you were in and the travelling support. I mean, what are your memories of growing up and watching him?
Yeah, like Ricky Hatton would be my first boxing idol. I always remember, like, I remember seeing him fight as a younger lad, and seeing like he's a man of the people. Do you know what I mean? And the much support he got. I remember always there was a weigh-ins and stuff, and I actually had a dog and named it Hatton before. That's how much I love this guy. Do you know what I mean? And so it's a terrible shame to have him lost, and a big shame for the boxing community and world.
I remember one of my first times working in boxing. I know, Darry, you were there. Was Campbell Hatton's pro debut, and they say never meet your heroes, and Ricky Hatton blew that concept out of the water. I mean, the amount of time he sat with everybody, sat with me, offering me advice and jokes, and he had an infectious personality that you just wanted to be around, and an incredible guy, and he's going to be very, very sorely missed, isn't he?
You know what, Josh, we'll never see the likes of Rick again. This guy went to Vegas, the stadium held 10,000 people. There was over 20,000 fans of his, and it held 10, he's just a man of the people, doesn't even touch the sides. Everybody adored him, everybody loved him, and he was amazing. He really was. Like I said, you know, he's never, ever, ever going to be forgotten. And it's not just for boxing, it's for just the person that he was, first and foremost.
You know, I've listened to numerous interviews with Ricky, and he's always said, how do you want to be remembered? And he says, I want to be remembered as the world champion that was one of us, that was one of the people, and he certainly was that. And I mean, it's such a sad time to see him go so early, and I know everyone in this room feels exactly the same way, and I'm sure that the tributes are going to keep pouring in. But I mean, even just for me, remembering going into a pub and paying £5 late at night and watching him fight Mayweather, you know what I mean, in a packed out pub, and he brought people out like you would not believe. I mean, he packed out pubs, stadiums, and I don't think we'll see the likes of that ever again. But as we look onto the screen, we see CONOR BENN, I mean, in the Man City shirt. Speaking of tributes, I mean, he looks ready. He looks like he's always got a steeliness about him, an intensity about him, and it's whether he can maintain and control that, and we'll find out. And if anybody's good at pushing buttons, it's Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah, definitely. The big thing here is who can take the most away from that first fight. Who's going to learn the most? Because we know what kind of fight we're going to get, but someone's got to make those little tweaks, those little adjustments that can get the win this time. And look, I technically think CONOR can do it. There are things that he can do. They're not out of the realms of impossibility when it comes to keeping it straight, bringing your feet in. But yeah, can he hold it together? Can he hold it together? Can Eubank hold it together? Will there be, I mean, look, a bit of complacency come in? You don't know. You know, I've got the win. You know, I don't know. But one thing's for sure, this is round 13. It's absolute fireworks from start to finish. They
both always come well prepared. So these are both ready for 12 rounds. Fair play to Chris. He's never underprepared. He's always in shape. Yeah. He's an athlete. He's always in shape, and Conor's the exact same. So you're never going to get like a bad performance from these guys. You might get a styles clash when they fight other people over the years, but you're never going to get a performance where you go, he just weren't in shape, he weren't ready. These guys are ready, and their styles cannot gel in a bad way. It's just not possible. It is impossible. Like I said before, you want to make an explosion, you find the chemicals, you find the fireworks. These two are the chemicals and the fireworks. Just set them alight.
Who gives you a harder fight?
Between BENN and Donovan?
No, sorry, BENN or Eubank?
Gives me a harder fight?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you would have to favour Eubank, give me the harder fight, just because of the size.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just speaking about their first fight, like what a fight it was. As a fan, like it was a great watch, and it delivered in all aspects. So I'm looking forward to it as a fan watching it. But big nights ahead for both of them.
As you can just see, Chris Eubank Jr. is making his way to the side of the stage with the usual pomp and history. I mean, we don't know what's next. We don't know what's going to happen. Is there going to be fireworks? But let me tell you, it is going to be entertaining, and it is unfinished business. Guys, this is starting to build now, really. I mean, it's getting memories of that first press conference and everything that happened there, and it's very rare that you see a fighter's father get another fighter by the neck, and there's a lot.
It's perfect.
Do you know what, Josh? It's the last time. It's very nostalgic, and it's because, you know, the fathers have put things in place. This is nothing to do with the fathers no more. These two have created their own legacy, and they've created that magic moment in that last fight. They've done it themselves now. I'm turning up here. It's not about the fathers. Yeah. It's about what happened in that first fight. The first fight was that good. I just have to see it again. And so does all of the fans who was there that night, and all the fans tuning on TV. They're going to want to see it again. It was that good of a fight.
Well, the build-up starts now. Jamie Ward is primed and ready. This is the ring, unfinished business. Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn. Take it away.
Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go again as we kickstart the build-up to what promises to be another truly epic night here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Just like their fathers did all those years ago on November 15th, live on DAZN, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn relight the family feud once more for the fourth time in the history books, and of course the second time between themselves when they rematch once more here in front of 70,000 fans. Now, as you can see on the stage here this evening, many familiar faces, and we start now with the formal introductions. Firstly, reigniting their own feud once again here on the top table. Promoters Ben Shalom of Boxer and Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We have the respective training teams as well, which has taken everyone a little bit by surprise here this evening. Firstly, of course, Tony Sims, head trainer of Conor Benn, and Bomac is in the house here this evening as well. And Bomac, we congratulate you on an incredible victory this past weekend as well. And now, of course, this man needs no introduction. Two-weight world champion, the great Nigel Benn, also with us here this evening. And we welcome now to the stage the two most important faces and fighters. Firstly, to my left, the man chasing revenge, the man chasing redemption, Conor Benn. And we also welcome to the stage at this time the victor from the epic collision here in April, looking to further cement Eubank supremacy and rubber stamp his own rivalry against Conor Benn with a second victory on November 15th. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Eubank Jr. And at this time, we do want to give special thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority and Saudi Boxing Federation, His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. And this is it, Unfinished Business, presented by Riyadh Season, Seller, Ring Magazine, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, and Ben Shalom for Boxer. And it's all live worldwide, exclusively on DAZN. And just before we do begin this evening's press conference, we pause at this moment for a period of reflection. The sporting world was rocked to its very foundations this past weekend when we heard the tragic news that the great Ricky Hatton had so sadly passed away at the age of 46. Ricky was loved for so many reasons, of course, as a fighter and what he did in his incredible career as a professional boxer. Inspired so many to chase and achieve their dreams and put on the boxing gloves, paved the way for those following him in his beloved city of Manchester. And look at what he did achieve as a fighter. Became world champion, took his army of supporters and fans and friends in their tens and thousands across the pond to take on and challenge the world's very best in Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Fought at the home of his beloved Manchester City. But other than that, Richard to his family, Rick to the rest of us, was a truly unique and special character. The people's champion, the working class hero, the boy next door, and as he perfectly put it himself, only ever really wanted to be one of the boys. Ricky had an infectious smile, a truly incredible sense of humour, a wonderful laugh, and a heart as big as this room here today. And at this moment in time, we want to show you a tribute to the great man, Ricky, the Hitman Hatton.
I'm not going to say that I'm the greatest British world champion that we've ever had, but there's never ever been a world champion from Great Britain that has had a fan base like Ricky Hatton.
He's a lot slimmer than that.
Let's fucking have it!
His fan base were unbelievable.
Everyone knows he's a great lad.
Unbelievable! Ricky Hatton is beaten for the first time in his career.
What a fluke that was.
Graduation night, the Hitman hits the big time.
Well, people will make their own minds up, you know, of how good a fighter they actually think I was. But, you know, I would maybe, in a sentence, the world champion, that was one of us.
Certainly a wonderful tribute to a wonderful fighter and a wonderful man in Ricky Hatton. And as the famous chant used to be sang, there's only one Ricky Hatton, and indeed there only ever will be one Ricky Hatton. Rest in peace, Ricky. It goes without saying, the thoughts of everyone here are with all your family, your friends, many of whom are in this room this evening, and all who share this sadness with us. But we are here, of course, this evening to talk about a truly epic rematch taking place November 15th, once again here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, live on DAZN. I mean, cast your eyes and your mind back to April, a night which had just about everything and surpassed even the wildest of our expectations. We remember the theatre when Chris Eubank Sr. arrived at the stadium alongside his son Chris Eubank Jr. as Conor and his father Nigel watched on from backstage. We remember the cinema of what the atmosphere was like in this stadium. The ring walks, shoulder to shoulder alongside their fathers to their fathers' songs, simply the best and dangerous. And of course, all of that culminated in one of the best fights we have seen on British shores for many, many years. And I have no doubts, really, that the only two fighters for UK Fight of the Year 2025 who can dare to rip the trophy from Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn in April are Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn in November. So let's get straight to it then. The press conferences have always been fun, so let's hear from the fighters. Firstly, a quick word from Chris Eubank Jr. Chris, when you think back to April...
I'd like you to address Conor first. I think I'm just interested to hear what he's got to say.
OK, as you wish. Firstly to you, Conor Benn. Conor, when you think about what happened in April, you always said it was the early runs that got you out of bed because you feared losing in this game. How has the reality been for you, and what have you perhaps learned about yourself since April?
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's always hard processing a loss. Nobody prepares to lose. You know, as fighters, we want to do our best, but ultimately we want to get the victory at all costs. You know, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about myself. I want to go back to the drawing board and work and learn, gain experience, and experience was gained. So no doubt, November 15th, you get a better version.
Chris, has your opinion on Conor Benn changed since the first fight, as a person, as a fighter? Do you respect him more than you did then?
What a crazy, crazy world we live in today. For my entire life as a professional fighter, I have been the villain and the bad guy. 14 years and 38 fights of people loving to hate me. But, you know, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but from what I'm seeing online nowadays and the interactions I'm having with, you know, people all over the world in the streets, I don't know if I'm that guy anymore. It's not just boxing fans that are approaching me now. It's little girls, elderly folk, housewives, people that really have nothing to do with boxing. And they are all, you know, they're all greeting me and they're all wishing me the best of luck. It's humbling. And the funny thing is, if you speak to this side of the table, Eddie Hearn will tell you, as he told the world after the fight, that Conor BENN is in fact the people's champ. I mean, wow, that is, that's incredible. Conor BENN, you did it, huh, kid? The people's champ. You know, one thing I know for sure is that you know, Conor BENN, he put on a great fight. He went out there and he did what I did not expect him to do. But, you know, I'm going to tell you right here and now, you ain't no champ. And you most definitely ain't no people's champ, so get that out of your head. You keep letting Eddie Hearn blow smoke up your ass and you're going to end up being even more of an embarrassment than he is. These men are not men of the people. They are pretending. They're pretending to be the good guys. Wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will. They will do anything they can. They will screw over anybody they can. They will cut any corners. They will break any rules they can to try and get ahead. Ruthless, immoral, and without restraint. These men are. They did everything they could to try and destroy me in this last fight. Contract breaches, fines, rehydration clauses, sabotage weigh-in, biased commentary and refereeing.
Oh my God.
The list goes on, it's endless. Even on fight night, they blocked my team from coming to the stadium for 30 minutes. And then when I arrive, they have security walking in front of my car, trying to slow me down and stall me as much as possible to make me late.
I've never heard so much waffle
it's okay.
in all my life.
You're going to hear a lot more.
No, but I was, you know,
you're going to hear
Chris.
a lot more. You know, it's incredible the levels that these guys will stoop to. I finally get into the stadium. I get into my change room. I'm preparing. They're sending idiots to try and disrupt me in my changing room. We get through that. I go out there, outside these walls, and I win the fight. Now, after the fight, due to severe dehydration, I'm put in an ambulance and I have to go to hospital. I was actually so dehydrated that one of the toenails on my big toe fell off. It actually fell off. It's grown back about halfway now. But anyway, I'm in this ambulance.
Jesus, not a toenail.
I'm in the ambulance. And
you still got it?
These scumbags blocked that ambulance from leaving the stadium for 20 minutes.
By the way, this is an intro. I'll keep going because this is all being noted because it's absolute waffle.
20 minutes.
Waffle. Waffle.
I'm laying there in a gurney, oxygen mask on, and the car cannot move. They will not open the gates to let us leave. Now,
who won't open the gates?
Now, if this was a serious injury that I had sustained, that 20 minutes...
Chris, I want to know who wouldn't open the gates. It's important.
That 20 minutes...
You can't answer that, can you?
...could have been the difference between life and death.
You talk shit, you do.
And while this was all happening, CONOR, BENN and Eddie Hearn are in here talking to the media, lying about how I had a broken jaw and that was the reason why I was going to hospital. Bullshit artists of the highest degree.
Chris, can we get one thing clear? Can you just confirm that you are accusing us?
I am
Matchroom?
Yes.
Okay, say it.
You guys
say
blocked me from
say
getting
it.
out.
Say it.
You know, because
Matchroom.
Who else
Okay.
would have been?
Go on, say it.
Why was
say
I? Why was I in an ambulance?
Say that Matchroom stops you from going to the hospital.
Why was I what? So you can try and sue me with your little lawyer?
Not at all. Don't worry about that. Okay. I think you're talking about the wrong guy. Say it.
To be up here.
Say it.
These are the levels.
You talk shit.
These are the levels.
We stopped you from going because your toenail was falling off.
These people
heard it all now.
Eddie, the last time you were up here, you were talking about how famous and popular you were, even more famous than me.
No, that's impossible. You're the people's champ.
What? But you said it.
No, you're getting stopped by grannies and children who are throwing themselves at you like you're the Pope. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
And even with half a toenail. I can't believe it. But that's interesting. The fact is, you're telling us we stopped your ambulance from going to the hospital.
A glorified desk jockey.
Desk jockey?
That's what you are.
Okay, that's interesting.
Living off of the back of hard-working fighters. That's what you are. So the fact that you can sit here talking about how popular and
care about how popular. What I don't want to have is someone lying about what happened on the night to try and gain more popularity. About your weight cut, about all the bullshit you want to come out with. You're playing the victim. You're playing the victim. And we see through you.
I won the fight.
Well done. We give you the respect.
Yeah, I won the fight.
But don't worry. You accuse us of stopping the ambulance to going from the hospital. We'll see. We'll see.
You tried to destroy me, and you did not.
You're talking about we put things in place that you signed to do.
100%.
You signed.
You tried, and you failed, and you're going to fail again this time.
We'll
see. You guys
see.
are going to do all your little tricks and do all the things.
Loads
you
of
can
tricks.
to try and get my
Paul Daniels over here. It's unbelievable.
Me. It's not going to work.
We'll see.
Okay.
But you don't talk shit about things that you want to fantasize about. It's not.
I know the truth.
No, it's not.
For you to hear.
Listen, you've already accused us of stopping your ambulance from going to the hospital. That's fair enough. We'll see.
That's what happened.
We'll see.
That's what happened.
Okay, we will see, my friend.
Listen, you've never had a hard day's work in your life.
All right,
so I don't know why you're talking to me.
And you've only had one. And that was the last time. Let me tell you, you're going to have a real hard night's work on November 15th.
Your multi-million-pound estate writing up contracts to fleece fighters out of as much
We'll
money.
see, Chris. We'll see. We will see. Of your accusations, you shall. We will see.
Talking about how
you talk shit. We see through your games.
You don't know about
Mr. Popularity. You don't give a shit about anyone or nothing.
Sweat and tears. You know about how to use people.
We'll see.
That's the man you are.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
We will see.
We will.
Connor, quick one to you. Has your opinion changed on Chris Eubank Jr.?
I mean, I take my hat off to him, you know, because you need a dancing partner, and he was that for me. Did I underestimate him? I did. I genuinely thought I'd knock him out 3-4 rounds on my heart. You know, that's Chris, shut up, mate. That's what I genuinely believed. You know, so I underestimated him, but you know, he gave me one hell of a fight, and it was one hell of a fight. And yeah, I'm excited for next time round, to be honest, mate.
Well, let's hear from...
You know, this was the first time in my life that I've ever seen a fighter lose and then go on some type of victory tour. This guy.
No, there was
this
no
guy
victory.
was
there
going
was
to
no,
events.
There was no victory tour.
Interviews.
Listen, we were
buying cars.
Chris, no, that was your car that you gave me. That was the 500 grand for your unprofessionalism that gave me that car.
You flew over to America. You're taking pictures of people. Oh, I'm so grateful for the love and the support the fans are showing me. You're going on like you won. You do understand you lost, right?
Do you want me to finish?
He had all 10 toenails.
You do understand you lost, right? I mean,
I was ready. Listen, Chris. The reality is, while you were sipping food for a straw, I was back in the gym after the fight, ready for September 20th. Why was you not ready? We was locked in September 20th. So if you want to talk about a little tour, I was training meanwhile.
What were you doing?
I was living life, my friend.
Exactly. So what you just said, stupid. What you just said,
care that you were ready.
Listen. I don't care. Ultimately, we fight November 15th, mate. And yeah, November 15th. It was supposed to be September 20th, but your unprofessionalism and your unprofessional team weren't ready.
I don't need to fight you when you want to fight. You lost. I don't need you.
No, it wasn't when he wanted to fight. It's not when I wanted. It's when everybody wanted. When Turk Al-Sheikh wanted. When the whole team had agreed and arranged for the fight to happen. You know what happens when you have an agreement? Do you know what happens? You know when you sign a contract. Do you know what that is?
I didn't sign a contract.
Do you know what that is?
To fight you on
Do you know what that is?
I signed to rematch you. I didn't sign.
Do you know what that is?
So
do you know what an agreement is?
The date is perfect.
But do you know what an agreement is? Do you understand?
No, I don't know what agreement is. What is it?
Well, you're an idiot. That's why.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, we'll certainly come back to Chris and Conor. Let's hear from the other faces here on the top table here, though, this evening. Firstly, to you, Ben Shalom of Boxer. An epic night in April, a big win for your man, Chris Eubank Jr. How do you honestly believe November 15th will compare?
Look, I want to thank Riyadh Season and Salah and the Ring for making this possible again. I think the first fight brought the popularity back to British boxing. It was the biggest night I've ever been involved in. It was a bigger fight after the fight, thanks to these two warriors, and it was a spectacle that demanded a rematch. It's phenomenal that we've managed to do it again in the same year, but this one will be even bigger. I think Chris Eubank Jr. and what happened and his story and the hurdles that he had to go through endeared himself to the British public like I've never seen before from a British fighter, and it really is the Chris Eubank Jr. show. I have to say, I'm so happy to see Brian McIntyre here in all the fights that I've promoted with Chris. That rematch against Liam Smith was the most focused, was the most dedicated, was the best Chris Eubank Jr. I have seen, and I think Chris will be doing it in even more emphatic fashion on November 15th.
Congratulations, Bomac. I mean, the performance Terence put on against Canelo the other day was exceptional. So congratulations to you and the Terence Crawford team. Everyone, give it up for that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Promoter Eddie Hearn, let's see how you get on here this evening. Despite the setback for Conor Benn in April, what do you believe changed about the way he is seen within the boxing world?
Well, just firstly, Jamie, obviously, just a couple of... You might... Just going to say 30 seconds about Ricky Hatton.
No, there's no 30 seconds.
Chris, 1 second.
You know the drill.
Chris.
You know the drill. I'm not going to say...
You are some arsehole, you are.
Anything you say.
Okay, then don't listen to any...
I'm a bad guy.
No.
I'm a this, I'm a...
All I was going to do was say a few words about Ricky Hatton.
Okay,
words. Okay, I won't say anything about...
Move on with the press conference.
You're an arsehole. You talk shit. You get what's coming to you. It doesn't matter. You can do that.
We know
anyway,
the drill. Let's move on.
Okay.
You know what? I want to talk about something else. Forget Eddie. I want to talk about the British Boxing Board of Control. And more specifically, a man by the name of Robert Smith. This is the big boss behind the scenes, the head honcho, the man with all the power that controls everything that goes on in professional boxing inside of the United Kingdom.
Jesus.
This guy's a big deal. He really is. Now, this idiot allowed a room full of media and cameramen into my private weigh-in the day before the fight.
Is this when you were sabotaged again?
The time that it took to get these people out contributed to me missing the weight.
Chris, you turned up over an hour late.
And getting fined 500k.
You turned up over an hour late.
He let Conor Benn fight in gloves filled with horsehair, knowing that it was a direct breach of the contract I had for this fight. On fight night, he personally escorted an arch nemesis of mine, Billy Joe Saunders, to my changing room.
So boring. To
disrupt and try and ruin my preparations for the biggest fight of my life. So, and then afterwards he gets into the ring and is trying to shake my hand and congratulate me. I mean, the ball's on this guy. It's viciously clear for me to see that this toad is nothing more than a puppet and a pawn. I think he is in the back pockets of Matchroom.
Wow, another one that's got it in for you.
Absolutely.
You are so unlucky with everything.
So
I mean,
unfortunately, just another scumbag in this.
Oh wow, you're calling the chairman of the British Boxing Board of Control a scumbag.
We find ourselves
the
in.
mask is slipping, Christopher.
It's unfortunate. Now, continuing on from that, the board, the British Boxing Board of Control, they opened several investigations into some of the things I did in the lead up to the fight. No investigations, by the way, into why my ambulance was stopped from leaving the stadium for 20 minutes, but I guess trying to find out why I was talking about being in a sauna before the fight is much more important. Anyway, the board have graciously awarded me with a multitude of fines over the last 6 months. And my question is, where is this money going? You know, the Boxing Board of Control, they're supposed to be supporting the foundations and governing the community of boxing in Great Britain. So in my eyes, the money that I was being fined should be going to the community, should be going to kids that can't afford equipment. It should be going to local gyms. The money should be going to fighters who have suffered injuries, medical bills. But as far as I can see it, that's not happening. The money simply seems to be lining the pockets of fat cats on the board, like Robert Smith. Don't worry, Ben. It's okay. And you know, it's sad to see. So I'm asking you guys, the media, to shine a light on this situation and find out where is all this money going? Because it's not going to the community. I'll tell you that now. Just food for thought.
Well, let's hear from the training teams as well, quickly. Firstly to Bomac and Asel Diagaz as well, down there at the end of the table. Bomac, as Chris said, congratulations on a wonderful victory with Bud Crawford over the weekend, but back involved in Team Eubank for this fight. When did that all come about, and what do you think of this man here, Conor Benn, as a challenge?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks for, you know, this great event. I'm happy to be a part of. How it came about was just by a phone call, and after I watched the first fight, and when they called for the second fight, we tried to get together for the first fight, but the timing wasn't right. When they called, it was a no-brainer. So I'm just happy to be here, be a part of a historical fight.
How much better do you believe your man, Chris Eubank Jr., can be in this fight?
Well, I'll tell you what, and this is no knock on them over there, I believe it's going to be a little bit easier this time. For the simple fact he already got his number. It's hard to get away from when somebody already done beat your ass. That's hard because it's already stuck in your head.
They said I'm too old, Coach. They said I don't want it anymore. They said I'm washed up.
Hey, they're going to find out.
That's right.
I have just been informed in my ear a special message from His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, who says that Eddie Hearn is more popular than Chris Eubank Jr. because he has his own Netflix documentary.
That's good news. Chris can watch that tonight. 6 episodes.
Yeah. We all know about that, how you're postering me all over your trailers.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that doesn't deserve to be here, and you're using me in all your trailers.
I know.
It's okay.
You made me a lot of money in that documentary.
One thing you're not going to do is promote that.
One thing was amazing, that we got the People's Champ.
So
you got 6 episodes, 5 hours of working where you can pull your plonker off in Brighton all night to that. You would be loving it.
A scumbag promoter uses other fighters.
Yeah, blocks ambulances,
to propel yourself into the limelight.
loses toenails,
You're so
everything.
famous. You talk more than your fighters do. Look at you.
That's my job.
Conor hasn't said a word.
He don't want to say because he's bored listening to you about Robert Smith moaning like a baby as the mask slips.
I'm talking.
Jamie, over to you. I'm talking. Be quiet.
You sit.
You shut your mouth down there.
And nobody wants to hear you talk. No one wants to hear about
Netflix. It's out now. Enjoy the episodes. Thank you.
No one's going to watch it, mate. Good luck.
Thank you.
Trainer Tony Sims, a quick word from yourself. When you think about the game plan, Tony, what perhaps didn't go to plan in April, and what do you believe will be different this time round?
Yeah, look, the fight was a tremendous fight for the fans. Both boys put everything on the line, and it was a great fight, you know, and I believe, and Conor knows this, that he's got to make adjustments to beat Chris the next time. But I believe that Conor's got it in his locker to do that, and I think he was too much emotionally involved in that first fight. I believe that there was a lot of firsts that happened to him. Obviously, first fight up at middleweight. As we know, he's a welterweight, and it was his first fight at middleweight. First time topping the bill in a big stadium. And obviously his first loss, so, you know, he's got to overcome that, and he's got to make these adjustments. But I believe that he will do that, and I believe that he will become victorious this time.
And for you, Nigel, as well, albeit it didn't go the way of your son, what were your overriding feelings and emotions when you left Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that night?
I was actually all right about it. Chris put up a good fight. But to me, that was Conor at his worst. He was winging punches in, throwing them left, right, not even thinking about what he was doing. Everything that we'd practiced for the 12 weeks of training, he didn't do one thing. Absolutely one thing. And he had him hurt so many times, but yet he kept on trying all the punches that he was going to throw. And I thought to myself, mate, that wasn't even a real Conor. But I'm glad that he done 12 rounds with a middleweight. And the funny thing about it, we all keep saying that we made him struggling with the weight, but Chris is IBO middleweight champion. He fights at 160 all the time. The last 4 fights have been at 160. So why are we all saying...
And not with a rehydration clause, though.
Struggling at the weight. But you understand...
Ben, he didn't miss the rehydration clause. He missed his 160 weight. Why are you even up here, bruv? I don't even know why you're up here.
Conor.
No, but I genuinely don't know why you're sitting up here.
What are you famous for?
I don't know why you're sitting up here. It ain't about that, bruv. I don't know why you're
what are you famous for?
Ben, not the time.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. It's just like, all we got to do, wait for November the 15th, mate, and we see the real Conor. Not running away, not lunging the punches in, taking his time, doing the best that I know that he can do. That just wasn't the real Conor. And that's why I'm happy that he done 12 hard rounds, and yet he had him wobbling about 3 or 4 times, but didn't know how to finish him, because the occasion got to him, and he went in there. What got in Conor's head, he kept on saying, I'm going to take his head off, I'm going to take his head off. If he'd have said, like, you know what, yeah, I'm going to box him, he didn't. He went in there thinking, I'm going to take his head off. And that reminded me the same when he fought the French guy, Painard. Just want to go in and take his head off. Winging the punches in, I thought, oh my gosh, he's not going to win this. But I didn't come away like, you know, upset. I just cuddled my son. Didn't say a word. And the funny thing about it, the next day we went in the sauna, because Conor's been giving me grief. He said, mate, if you took care of business, I wouldn't have to do this. So then we got in the shower. I've got to tell you this joke. We got in the shower and I left the door open. And he
sauna, Dad.
And he said, mate, why are you leaving the door open for? And he's really moaning at me. I said, shut up, you loser. But we both burst out laughing, because at the end of the day, we know that this...
It was a little bit too soon, Dad. It was like day after the fight.
Yeah, I know, but you give it to me, didn't you? You said if I'd done the job, you wouldn't have to do it. And you lost. Now you've got to go and put the record straight, mate.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. I'm going to keep reminding you that until you get that victory.
Conor, what can you fix What must you fix in the
Listen, I
rematch?
had a beautiful camp. I had a great camp. You know, I worked extremely hard. I've done the best I could on the night. It was the lack of discipline on the night. You can't prepare for the occasion, the emotions. It was my first fight back here in 3 years. It's just experience gained and lesson learned, you know, for me. But ultimately, I'll gain more discipline, more calculated. Still with that ferocity and tenacity, but just, less emotion.
You told Chris to bring his winter coat this time. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
Oh, well, we thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and I know that's the only reason why he's taking the fight, because there's plenty of names in his division. At this stage of his career, if he had ambitions of winning a world title. So, you know, I thought it was going to be an easy fight, and it turned out not quite so. That's all I meant by that.
What was the difference between the pair of you, Chris, in your own words? What was Conor's undoing in April?
What was his undoing? I'm a better fighter than him. They keep talking about weights. He hasn't fought at welterweight for nearly 4 years. How many times did you hear Terence Crawford talking about the weight divisions he's coming up, fighting Canelo, who's fought at light heavyweight? And there was no rehydration clauses in that fight. So it's pretty embarrassing the amount of times that these guys consistently talk about weight. It had nothing to do with the weight. I am the better, more experienced, more dedicated fighter. That's why he didn't beat me, and that's why he shall not beat me in November.
How do you do it, Conor? How do you beat Chris Eubank Jr.?
Less greed. You know, when I had him hurt in there, I mean, he's going to say I didn't have him hurt. When I thought I had him hurt, you know, I was just too greedy in there, looking for the headshots. Game plan went out the window as soon as I hit him in the third round. It was a matter of, it felt like I was always one punch away from closing the show. And I was looking for that one punch, you know, and yeah, he looked vulnerable in there. He looked vulnerable. So at some stages he looked old, and you know, I was too busy going in there trying to hurt him over getting the wins.
What makes you laugh, Chris, when you hear that?
Old and vulnerable, and this old man's talking about he wobbled me 4 or 5 times.
Well, you just got to watch it. You just got to watch the fight. You just got to watch the fight. At no stage did you hurt me in there.
The delusion of these guys.
Well, just watch it. It's not delusion if you can physically see it, Chris.
It's breathtaking. It really is. You know, yes, you caught me with a few shots. Was I out on my feet?
Mate, you was in hospital for 3 days sipping food for a straw. That's what you were doing. So stop all this silly talk.
When
you was in hospital, I was in the gym.
Severe dehydration, you have to be treated.
Okay. How much did you weigh then? Listen, that's what you guys agreed. That's what you guys agreed. You guys agreed the 10 pound rehydration. We said, well, regardless was agreed with your team are idiots then, didn't they? Because that's what they agreed. You see, my team had my best interest at heart. They obviously done yours, because if that's done that much damage, you'd bring it up now. Why not bring it now? You wanted to talk about it. You wanted to. It wasn't even a topic of discussion, Chris.
I'm not here to talk about it.
Well, exactly. So then stop moaning about it.
Please.
That's you guys.
Stop moaning about it.
You guys moan about it.
We're good. We're good.
I'm here to fight.
We ain't moaned about it once. All we hear is you moaning, Chris.
I haven't moaned about it.
I feel flattered that you brought a new trainer in. I feel flattered that you brought Bomac in, because I know you need it. And he's a great coach. You're a great coach, Bomac, and I've got love for you, mate. But you can't polish a turd. Apologies.
One sentence prediction, Conor. Just finally, one sentence.
Listen, ain't a final prediction. I ain't going to go in there and try and render him unconscious as much as I'd love to. I'm going to go in there and do the best I can with what I can, and be disciplined in there. For me, that's experience gained, and really use that experience and the lessons learned from the first fight.
And for you, Chris, final sentence. What happens in the rematch? How do you do it?
Again, the parliamentary will be the procedure.
The master
up, Chris,
the master will be the matador. This man will be the bull.
Thank you for your TED talk, Chris. This has been a pleasure.
He will be running around that ring, trying to employ all the new techniques, and I don't want to go out there and wear my heart on my sleeve and win my punches, so I'm going to box and we're going to have this strategy. All of that stuff is going to go out of the window as soon as that first little right hand connects on his chin. And after that, we're going to have fun in there, baby, like I always do. The procedure will be parliamentary. You guys will see.
Okay, a fight that truly sells itself. The demand through the roof already. Tickets on general sale tomorrow. Set your reminders at ticketmaster.co.uk as we bring the fighters. Hold on to your hats. Face to face once again, Chris Eubank Jr. and CONOR BENN. And we also welcome to the stage Dr. Rakan Al-Arthi, the Managing Director of Seller. Thank you very much.
As we can see, this is what we've been waiting for. It was a calm CONOR BENN in there. He didn't get a chance to say much. Chris, it was the Chris show. Now we're going to see them face to face again. Now, talk us through it. I mean, the weight, rehydration, there's been so much talk about it. And when you see them, Chris is obviously the bigger man, but that didn't really play a massive part in the fight.
It does in the back end of the fight, Josh. I think it's ludicrous claims to say you stop an ambulance. It's absolutely insane. Yeah. You have to bear in mind that it's a British Boxing Board of Control event, and Matchroom and the promoter have no say in whatsoever in how an ambulance gets in or out. So just to make that clear for the listeners who have watched, the Boxing Board of Control are in complete control of ambulance drivers. It took me 2 hours to get away from this stadium after the fight. The stadium was that busy, and that was me just getting out in a car, never mind an ambulance. So it is what it is. Chris feels aggrieved, and he's got certain, personal agendas against people that are sitting on that table. And so be it. All is fair in love and war. You're going to throw these stones, but it's dangerous saying things like that, in my opinion. It really is. And calling the Boxing Board, this is the best boxing commission in the world. We're the safest one by an absolute mile. We're safer than any other commission, any other boxing board. I've had my own grievances with them, by the way, but we are the safest commission in the world, bar none.
And the questions around the fight. Can CONOR BENN find that calmness? Can he use his brain? Can he make the adjustments? Or is, as Chris Eubank Jr. said himself, too big, too strong, too experienced? These are all the questions that we're going to have answered in this rematch, set up perfectly.
I mean, the press conference was the Chris Eubank show. Conor kept it largely relaxed and quiet. And is that a sense of him growing as a person and getting a kind of a grip of that kind of personality where he has got a short fuse, but he's controlled himself in there, where he's usually got a little bit riled up, he fires back?
I think the two of them have had little shots at each other there. I mean, it's nothing. At this stage, this far out, no one's feeling the anxiety or no one's feeling the pressure yet. It's only when it gets a bit closer. So when it gets to fight week, that's when things get ramped up. That's when both fighters are tight at the weights, both are closer to making it, and it's coming. The rivalry is always going to be there between these two. They don't like each other, the needle, it's personal, but that intensifies fight week for me.
Experience and maturity has also played a part there, but I'll tell you one thing, and they may not say it's there, but there is respect.
Yeah.
You have 12-round war like they did in the first fight, Tony. It's going to be there.
That, and they both said it then. About they shocked each other. He didn't think he could take what he had. I didn't think he could take what I had. So without saying it, they have said it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They respect each other. They both can't believe they absorbed what they absorbed off each other. Fair play to them.
It's like their personalities won't allow them to give any... you can't just say, do you know what, he's a great fighter. They can't do it. They can't do it. And I love it. And that's why we're getting the rematch. And that's why, this is a blood... We open the show saying this is a bloodline feud that has lasted decades. And it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon when you see these guys up there.
No chance. No, absolutely no chance. There's always that Wally at school, who you're just never going to get along with. You're never, ever going to get along with. And that's them. They're each other's Wally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you couldn't be more yin and yang, and they were both remind us so much of their parents in terms of their personalities. But you see them up there. Any clues? I mean, we had a kind of a half-an-hour rant from Chris about all the things that he's been hard done by. We didn't get to hear much from Conor, but it was more... Let's take the anger and the emotion out of it.
I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted one to speak about Rick, to be honest, about Ricky Hatton. And Chris didn't let that happen on the stage. I hope they addressed it in the interviews they're doing now, but you've got to understand Ricky Hatton's paved the way for these two. He's been part of it. I know the fathers are legends and icons, but Ricky Hatton is a big part of what's happened to British boxing, a huge part, as big a part as anyone's played in the last 2 decades. He really is.
Because I cannot wait for this fight. It's really got the juices flowing, but there is so much more to come on The Zone.
The Zone, the undisputed global home of boxing, where the greatest fighters take center stage, with fights every week and over 185 a year. And now, the mighty Queensberry joins over 30 worldwide promoters to up the ante like never before, with the best of the best.
The biggest nights.
There's no limits to what's possible. Nobody brings you closer to the action, because if the fight is on, it's on the zone, the global home of boxing.
October 11th brings a blockbuster doubleheader. Doncaster's own Papadilla Cheekbones continues his thrilling resurgence as he faces the ever-dangerous Arslanbek Makhmudov in a high-stakes clash. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, former featherweight, welterweight world champion Jerome Boots Ennis makes his long-anticipated move up to super welterweight. He'll square off against the proven and dangerous Usman Lima in a WBA final eliminator that promises fireworks. And on November 1st, Joshua Buatsi kicks off a new chapter under the Queensberry banner as he squares off against fellow countryman Zach Parker. The winner of this all-British showdown earns a golden ticket to face the sport's biggest names. And then the Mexican knockout king, Virgil Ortiz Jr., is back and looking to rediscover that brutal best against slick southpaw Erickson Nick Lubin. That throws down on November 8th. And of course, the Zone is so much more than your global home of boxing.
We're not just competing, we're inventing, pushing the boundaries of stamina and speed. We're taking the titles, the big money, and writing history. From new challengers to certified legends.
Oh, how about that?
This is where you watch. We're not here to play games. DAZN Women's Sports.
Well, we might need a couple of bits of extra security, because I'm not sure what's the biggest rivalry here. Is it you and Chris Eubank? Is it Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr.? Is it you two together?
Ben.
I mean,
we're great friends, aren't we, Ben?
Eddie's like an old father figure to me. You know, he's an old
like that uncle you don't like.
You could learn a lot.
To be honest,
you'd like to be this daddy right now, wouldn't you? Yeah.
He works for his father, and he's a little bit jealous of having that I started myself. But I do get on with Eddie.
Not where you start, it's where you finish, boy.
I'm still in the game. I'm still younger than when you were when you started. I'm still younger than when you were when you started.
You don't look it anymore, boy. You've aged a lot in the last couple of years.
Now talk to me, guys. Can we agree to have a little bit of parliamentary procedure? I hope that doesn't trigger you.
Right.
I hope that doesn't trigger you.
You started it, right? But what I will say is the mask is slipping. I mean, firstly, probably in the net, not you, don't worry. And then you've not got a mask on.
What do you mean?
Listen, what I'm saying is that was atrocious from Chris Eubank Jr. Firstly, you'll see in the next 48 hours. First, do you even know what happens in terms of the paramedics and how everything works on fight night? Probably not. I'll tell you for you. There is a log of procedures. Chris Eubank Jr. has just made the most wildest accusations, and the mask is slipping. He wants to portray this terrible thing about how he's the victim, etc. All I wanted to do was say a few words, you know, about Ricky Hatton. I don't care about Chris Eubank Jr. The guy, for me, is a fake, and he's trying to make out that everything's stacked against him. And what he accused us of was unforgettable. And when you are serious about your company as we are and what it means to us, trust me, we'll deal with that. Chris Eubank Jr. fought a great fight, right? They were two incredible warriors out there. There's no bias, there's no contract breach. It's all complete bullshit.
The
rehydration.
Everything leading up to the fight, everything around contractual breaches, everything that did happen, everything around the rehydration and what happened in that weigh-in wasn't right. The stuff that went on before that fight, not just saying it was matchroom, wasn't right.
What are you talking about?
The overwhelming amount of cameras and media in that weigh-in.
When we weighed, your client,
we had
he turned up over an hour late.
And it wasn't.
Ben, you weren't even in the room.
Because we came out of the room to allow him to weigh in, and there was about 45 press because you were filming your Netflix documentary, and they were filming him weighing in.
It's now live. You can watch it tonight. You'll learn a lot.
I think I'm in it more than
No, you're not, because you asked not to be.
Ridiculous.
Times you melted.
Right,
anyway, what I'm saying is he's playing the victim, and the mask is slipping. We're ready to go November 15th. You're going to see a different kind of fight this time. The same kind of trenches, but a different Conor Benn in this fight. And forget the
you know, the People's Champ. We're not interested in the People's Champ. Both guys should be respected for what they did last time out. They gave the British public one of the great fights of all time. And they'll do it again. But this time, we believe we'll be victorious.
Ben, I'm going to give you the chance to respond, number one. And two, I mean, it's not a lot. When Chris Eubank's on juniors on the stage, nobody gets a lot of time to talk. So say your piece. Is there anything you want to say directly to Eddie? And talk to me about this fight. I mean, Chris has said, once you get punched in the face, all of this kind of calmness that Conor Benn's showing during his press conference is going to go out the window. Do you believe that to be true?
All I would say is what Chris had to go through for the first fight. I've never seen a fighter have to go through that many hurdles to actually...
make his championship weight?
No, the rehydration clause, everything around that, getting prepared...
He didn't miss that.
With what happened with his contracts, with the gloves, with the weigh-in.
The contract wasn't with us.
Was stacked against him.
Who was your contract with?
Listen, I'm not believing you.
Who was your contract with?
Who
was your contract with?
Our contract was with
Turk
Seller.
El-Sheikh.
Yeah, no, with Seller.
And Seller. So if you've got a problem with a contract, why don't you speak to the Saudis?
There was issues that Chris had to go through all the way through that fight, and everyone watched it. Everyone watched it. That's why he became the people's hero. Everyone saw the struggle that he had to go through. He's not going to have it this time. He's got Brian McIntyre in there. I think it's going to be an absolute whitewash this time. I think that was the best chance you were ever going to get against Chris Eubank Jr.
Eddie, how do you respond? He believes it's going to be a whitewash. It's going to be a walk in the park. I mean, in the build-up to the last fight...
Seller and Turk El-Sheikh have breached the contract so many times. I think that's... I'm going to be having words with them myself. Awful. It's Chris Eubank. Bomac's a great trainer. Like, you know, I mean, I wouldn't polish the turd was a bit strong from Conor Benn. Eubank's a good fighter. But I don't think this is going to be a clear fight either way. I think this is going to be another close run thing. I think these two complement each other very well, not just at the press conference, but in the ring as well, with the history, with the narrative. I think it's going to be like the 13th round. You know, you're talking about Eubank Benn 4 this time. And that's what it is. And I think you're going to get another classic. Bomac, can he help? I mean, I don't know. Apparently Chris wasn't well last time, and you know he's got all the issues he's had to overcome, and so you know, but he has got the support of the grands and the young kids and all those people that are following him around the street like the Pied Piper.
Listen, he is. He's got the support of the people.
Really
he's the most popular fighter in the UK
right now.
He's the most popular fighter in the UK right now.
Guys, I don't think we'll ever come to an agreement between you two. Like, I'm sure Chris and Conor will never be friends like their fathers before that. But guys, absolute pleasure to have you on. I'm sure this will continue long into the night. But guys, there is so much more to come live on DAZN. Don't forget to check out our stacked schedule by going on platform now. Matchroom, Golden Boy, Queensbury, BKFC, MVP, all the biggest and most exciting fights are streaming live right here on the global home of boxing. Okay, so here we go. Experience meets momentum on October 25th as former heavyweight champion Joseph Parker takes on the undefeated powerhouse in Fabio Wardley with a shot of world honours hanging in contention. And on November 22nd, the Lions enter the kingdom. Britain's Anthony Yarde hunts greatness as he faces the Mexican monster in the battle for the WBC light heavyweight crown. Well, it's nice to have two people that like each other and get on in the studio. It was getting a little bit tense there.
Only when we're not on the golf course. We're on the golf course, we're enemies.
Now, talk to me. I mean, we've just spoken a little bit about Anthony Yarde. Benavidez, it's a massive fight. It's a man who, talk about lions in the camp and going into the kingdom. He is a man that takes risks. He always aims high. Sometimes he falters, but let me tell you, he is a man who's never, ever shied away from a big fight, a big occasion, and a massive card.
Let me tell you now, if he wins a world title, he's gone about it possibly the hardest way there is. Look, going to Russia, fighting Kovalev, then fighting Beterbiev, you know, he's an absolute monster. And now he's going in with another monster in Benavidez. If he's to get this win, Tony, he's done it one of the hardest ways possible.
Oh, listen, you're spot on. He's faced every challenge possible. He doesn't duck anybody. And Benavidez is a monster. Trust me when I say this. Benavidez is a full-blown monster. His punch output's ridiculous. He's huge. He's strong. He's one of them ones like Callum Smith. I never know how he made super middleweight, but he's got it all to do in that one. He really has to out-punch and outwork Benavidez, who I've never really seen hurt. You know, I've never seen him. So I don't know what's given the Yard team hope, but their own personal ability. He believes in himself, and you've got to give him so much credit. He's a very good fighter, Anthony Yard. Skillful, quick shot, can really punch, and with them 10-ounce gloves on, you never know what can happen, but there is no signs that Benavidez can be hit or can be beaten just now.
Well, can he climb to the top of the mountain at a third attempt? I'm sure that is going to be an incredible fight, and that will be live on DAZN. A final thought, as this room empties out and calms down, I mean, your final thought on this fight, the rematch, how's it going to go?
I think my first emotions, I'll roll on November 15th. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Fight week's going to be special, you know, as we edge closer, as we always do, those involved in this, the excitement builds. And they've both got a lot to prove. Ironically, even with Chris Eubank Jr. Getting the win, you know, he wants to prove he's better and he had a bad night. Conor Benn wants to prove that he got it wrong and it was the emotion that got the better of him. So, you know, stylistically, this will gel once again. Tactically, it will make perfect sense. And, yeah, I'm just waiting for that first bell once again.
Said it before, I'll say it again, you cannot get a bad fight with these two guys. You put a concoction together and you want to make an explosion. You put two elements together and it explodes. That's what them two are. Them two are the elements, believe you me. Just like the touch paper and ring the bell. You've got a classic again.
It's going to be an absolute classic. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be live on DAZN on November 15th. But there's also so much more to come. So the stage is set for an epic rematch. November 15th, live on DAZN. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn will renew their rivalry right here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And while we look forward to the best of British battle, we'll leave you tonight remembering one of Britain's best that we so sadly lost this week. There was only one, Ricky Hatton.
Fun, fiery, exciting, proud, humble, and a man of the people, Ricky Hatton, MBE, was a sporting icon and a true working-class hero. The hitman's mix of technical ability, passion, aggression, and lethal body shots lit up British boxing, but it was his down-to-earth joviality and love of a fry-up and a pint which meant the nation fell in love with Ricky.
I assure you, when he takes that off, he is not fat at all.
His popularity simply eclipsed everything, most notably when more than 30,000 descended on Vegas for that huge clash with Floyd Mayweather.
I always wanted to go over to the UK and fight. I always wanted to go to the UK and fight. So since I couldn't go to the UK, we brought the best from UK, which is Ricky the Hitman Hatton. He's right here. Talk to him, Ricky.
Born Richard John Hatton in October 1978, Ricky started with kickboxing at the tender age of 7, before using those prize fists to lift an ABA title and capture several other amateur medals. Hatton turned pro at 18 in 1997, with trainer Billy Graham telling us he was the most naturally talented youngster he'd ever seen, and promoter Frank Warren, who then guided him expertly to major honours. What followed was a rip-roaring ride of intense training camps, brutal performances, tea at home in Hyde with Mum Carol and Dad Ray, darts down the local, lifelong mates on the estate, as well as celebrity friends like Liam and Noel Gallagher, and of course Wayne Rooney. Ricky was a fervent Manchester City fan who infamously ring-walked to Blue Moon, but he united Manchester and turned their MEN Arena into a fortress, a Hatton Coliseum. Ricky was a superb boxer, but he could also get rocked and badly cut, as he did in the early seconds of his British title triumph over John Thaxton. But all this just added to the appeal, and he got out of trouble with those venomous attacks, which meant increasing crowds and huge events. In the early hours of June the 5th, 2005, Ricky gave us one of our best ever British boxing nights as he dethroned the great Kostya Tszyu, forcing one of the pound-for-pound kings to retire on his stool after 11 pulsating rounds.
It's over! It is over!
His dream made real, lifting the IBF World Light Welterweight title. An American venture led to Hatton becoming a two-weight champion up at welterweight with a hard-fought victory over Lewis Crocker. And the Hitman was unbeaten in 43 when he met Mayweather in a fight for the ages. 2 of his 3 defeats came against the best of the modern generation in Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. No disgrace there, but Ricky took the defeats hard and had well-documented struggles with his mental health. Retiring with a stellar record of 45 wins, 32 KOs and 3 losses, Ricky became a manager, promoter, trainer and brilliant after-dinner speaker, a beloved father to boxing son Campbell and daughters Millie and Fern, and a grandfather to Lila. Everybody who worked closely with Ricky adored him, and we are all deeply saddened by his sudden passing at the age of 46. A warrior and a legend who never took life too seriously, but was a seriously great fighter. He never changed, and that's rare. Ricky was always Ricky. Everyone at DAZN sends condolences to his family and many friends. There is, and will only ever be, one Ricky Hatton.
Bye.